Okay, hello and welcome to Coral Gables Toastmasters. This is our November 10th, 2021 regular club meeting. Welcome to all of our members and to the guests that we have joining us today. You are most welcome here. Some guidelines for our meeting. All speakers and functionaries, please rename by clicking your name and include your role, your first and your last name. Most of you have already done that. Fantastic. Mute your audio during speeches or when anyone is speaking, but you can use the reaction button for virtual reactions. If you'd like to share feedback with any of the members, send a private message to them to include your feedback if you wish. You can unmute during introductions, closing remarks, award presentation. Former members and Toastmasters from other clubs may take on functionary roles and may be voted for the best table topic speaker or best evaluator. Other guests can participate in the table topics session, but cannot be voted as a best table topic speaker. All functionary roles and speaking roles will be granted co-host privileges to share screen if needed. At this point, I will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. You are more than welcome to stand for it if you wish. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any and all images taken during this meeting will be used expressly for club social media purposes. Okay, fantastic. So to introduce myself, I am Lucas Calafel, the Coral Gables Toastmasters Club president. Once again, welcome to all of our members and the guests that we have joining us today. Daria, okay, I see that you were able to change your name. Fantastic. Welcome. And Mitchell, welcome. We like to start off our meeting by allowing our guests to introduce themselves. So let's start off with Daria. Please unmute and just share what you expect to get from our meeting tonight.
So this is my second meeting. I joined last week. I filled Felicity sent me the link and everything, and I thought I signed up or I filled out everything, but I missed the things I needed to go over. Payment in.
Daria, your audio is cutting out. It's very low. It's difficult to hear you.
So I teach swimming. My phone is always in the water. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know if this is helping.
Oh yeah, it is. Fantastic.
Okay, great. Yeah, my audio is not great on my phone because I take my phone in the water a lot. So I'm recently moved to Miami. I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm here to get better at public speaking and get to know like-minded individuals here in Miami.
Okay, fantastic. Well, welcome once again to your second meeting. We hope that you enjoy it as much or even more than the first one that you attended. Let's hear from our second guest, Mitchell. Please unmute. Share a quick introduction.
Hey guys, good to meet all of you virtually tonight. I'm born and raised here in Miami, currently live in Miami, and I'm a medical sales rep. So with that comes a lot of presentations, both externally to customers and internally to people within the company. And I know I have a lot of room to improve in terms of, delivering these presentations. I want to get over the nervousness of doing it, and then obviously go beyond that and just become an effective speaker and actually, worry about delivering, content that's going to resonate with people. So never done one of these before, and I'm happy to be here, hoping to, improve my skills.
Fantastic, Mitchell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I hope that you find it an enjoyable experience and that you can find a benefit to Toastmasters as it relates to improving your public speaking skills.
Thank you.
So for the benefit of our guests, our meetings are broken down into 3 segments: prepared speeches, in which members give prepared speeches. Then we have table topics, which allows members to answer questions spontaneously. We're given a question at random that they don't know about ahead of time. So they kind of have to, they're in the hot seat and they have to give a coherent answer from between 1 and 2 minutes. And lastly, we have our evaluations where our prepared speakers get evaluated by other members on ways that they can improve their speaking skills or ways that they can improve the way that they deliver their speeches. So we have a theme for our meeting, as we do for all of our meetings, and today's theme is being present. I want to share a quote that I found just 30 minutes ago, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It doesn't matter when you find it. It's about finding it. But basically it says the ability to be in the present moment is a major component of mental wellness. And I was thinking about the Thanksgiving holidays that are coming up. And yes, it's kind of cliche that if there's any kind of meeting and it's in November, it's so easy to just say, yeah, Thanksgiving is the theme. But I don't think we can avoid it. I don't think we can avoid being thankful for what we have, but by being present and thinking about what we have and not thinking about what we can get in the future, let's enjoy the moment right now. Let's be grateful for what we have and for the family that we're able to spend time with, the friends that we have, the things that we are able to do. I know for one, I'm thankful for our club, that we have this space where we can all improve our public speaking skills. Anyway, that's the theme for our meeting. And what I will do now is introduce our functionaries. In this case, we have one here, which is our timer. She's going to briefly explain her role for tonight's meeting. Catherine, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm the timer for this evening. As timer, I will time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches, and evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red backgrounds, which denote specific times remaining. For the icebreaker, speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. That's our first speaker tonight. So at 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. There we go. 5, the yellow, and at 6, the red card. Other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. So at 5 minutes, I will raise the green, 6 yellow, and then red at 7 minutes. The evaluation should be between 2 and 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, I will raise the green, at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, yellow, and at 3 minutes, red. And then for the round robin, Lucas, should I just go ahead and just go directly to red at a minute? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Red at a minute.
Sounds good. And then for table topics, they should be no more than 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will raise the green card, 1 minute, 30 seconds, yellow, and at 2 minutes, the red. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Cameron. And for the benefit of our speakers tonight, whether it's prepared table topics or evaluators, you do have a 30-second grace period after the maximum amount of time in order to qualify for voting. I will be serving as the vote counter, but I'm going to use the awesome Zoom polling tool so that people can vote after each segment of the meeting for the best speaker, best table topics, and best evaluator. Now I'm going to introduce our counter who just decided to volunteer for the role. Our Vice President of Education, Brian DeSimone, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Tonight I will be serving as the counter of the meeting, looking out for any crutch words during any speaking portions of our meeting tonight. So that includes so's, likes, you knows, any words that we tend as human beings just to fall back on in regular conversation that we want to break away from here in Toastmasters and in our everyday speaking. So I'll be on the lookout for that and making a tally and giving a report at the end of the meeting. And I will also be doing my best to be on the lookout for exceptional uses of speech during table topics and speeches tonight, and be noting that as well. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian. Let's move on to our prepared speeches, which I'm very excited for. So our first speaker is going to share about herself, what brought her to Toastmasters and what she expects to get out of it. She's working in the dynamic leadership pathway, doing the Icebreaker project, which is a 4 to 6 minute speech. Giving the speech titled How I Got Here, please give a warm virtual applause to Alexia Thompson.
Thank you, Lucas, and thank you everyone for your attention today. I've attended a few meetings, but I'm excited to present my first ever speech, my icebreaker speech today. So I'm going to start with sharing a little bit about myself, how I got here, and what I hope to gain by joining Toastmasters. So to start, my name is Alexia Thompson. I'm a civil engineer. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. I'm of these immigrants. I'm an older sister to two brothers. I grew up in a very big, but also very overprotective family, which is kind of why I would say led me to be more reserved and introverted around new faces, which leads me to my next point. How did I get here to Toastmasters? After I graduated from college, I moved away from home for the first time, and not to anywhere exciting like New York or Washington, D.C., or anywhere where I had family. I moved to Columbia, South Carolina. I wanted to take a huge leap in my career, and I felt moving to South Carolina was the right place to do that. And for a while, it worked. But about 2 years into my career, I noticed that like my growth stagnated. And at the same time, I noticed my peers, the ones that knew how to host meetings and knew how to engage with the clients, were being given more opportunities. So this is a point where I realized I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I had, like what I needed to be able to do, but I didn't know how to get there. So I brought all of this up to my boss, and he asked me if I've ever heard of Toastmasters. And at the time I didn't. So he suggested that I check it out. I looked up local chapters and I started attending meetings. I was impressed of how each member had their own style, but was able to clearly and confidently be heard and also receive messages. So this all leads me to my last point. What do I hope to get from Toastmasters? One of the first things I noticed when attending meetings was how each speaker was able to confidently and clearly deliver a message, and all at the same time establish their own style. So from Toastmasters, I hope to gain confidence in speaking in front of groups, but also establish a speaking style that's authentic to myself. I was also able to witness how each member grew from meeting to meeting. In participating in Toastmasters, I hope to put myself in a space where I can improve by listening to evaluations in meetings. And lastly, before attending Toastmaster meetings, I underestimated the necessity of being able to speak on the spot. So I hope to exercise my ability to speak on the spot or be called out, like answer questions during meetings. Overall, I'm excited to challenge myself to strengthen my communication skills. I'm excited to be a part of a group of people dedicated to improving themselves. And I'm excited to start my Toastmasters journey. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Alexia, for your speech. Fantastic. Okay, let's jump to our second speaker for this evening. Our second speaker is working in the presentation mastery pathway, completing the level 3 elective project to connect with your audience, a 5 to 7 minute speech. Giving the speech titled, It's November, so why am I so scruffy? Please give a warm virtual welcome to Felix Jimenez.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Even though we're on a virtual platform and we're not meeting face-to-face tonight, Some of you may have noticed something different about me. You may say that I appear maybe a little disheveled, unkempt, maybe a little scruffy. So you may be asking yourself, why is Felix not shaving? Is he trying out for the Ernest Hemingway lookalike contest in Key West this weekend? Or maybe auditioning for the Macy's Santa Claus in town? Why am I risking adding 10 years to my age? The month that we're in may give you a clue. It's November. And it's No Shave November. So what is No Shave November? According to its website, it's a month-long journey for the participants to forego shaving and grooming in order to create a conversation about cancer and raise cancer awareness. The goal of No Shave November is to grow awareness by embracing our hair, which many cancer patients lose, and letting it grow wild and free. You then donate the money that you would normally spend on shaving and grooming to educate about cancer prevention, save lives, and aid those that are fighting the battles. You may be asking, how can I get involved? Grow a beard, sport a mustache. Ladies and men, you may let your legs go au natural. Skip that waxing appointment. Put the razor down and set up your own personal No Shave November fundraising site. Okay, if you're not getting ready to be hairy, then support someone that is. You can contribute to their site or their effort to raise money for cancer awareness. Rules are very simple. Put down the razor for 30 days, donate the monthly grooming expenses for the cause. If you have a strict dress code at work, as I do, you can do a little grooming and trimming, and that's perfectly fine. On a more serious note, according to the Center for Disease Control, cancer is the leading cause of death in the US. I want to share with you some slides. Lucas, if you can share, approve the slide sharing.
All set.
Okay. So the good news is that the cancer rate has dropped 27% from 1999 to 2019, which is the last data that the Center for Disease Control has. And if you look at the types of death, the leading cause of cancer-related deaths is lung cancer, far above outweighing most of the other cancers. And as you can see from the slide, the rest are colon and rectal cancer, pancreatic, female breast cancer, prostate, and liver cancer. Adjusted by cancer rate of death by male and female, the males are slightly outnumbering the females by death. Those are the stats. But again, it's reinforcing the fact that it has been going down. There's been a lot of improvements. If you look at the age-adjusted death rates by state, you can see that we in Florida are somewhat higher, but that could be just because of our demographics, that we are somewhat of a larger, older population in our state. So why did cancer death rates change from 1999 to 2019? Why did they drop? Well, fewer people are smoking cigarettes. There's a lot of healthy weight support organizations and efforts to combat obesity. And there's been an increase in cancer screening. These top three issues is what is attributed to dropping the cancer rate for us, according to the CDC. So in closing, I would really ask you to join me in bringing attention to such an important cause. Let it grow wild and free. Or sponsor someone that's doing it. Get scruffy in November with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix, for that informative speech. Now we know why you're so scruffy. All right. let's jump to our third and final prepared speaker for this evening. Our third speaker will present an encounter that would narrate the importance of communication via listening to understand versus listening, eager to respond. She will also share her go-to guide for how she needs to always be whenever she communicates. Our third speaker is working in the dynamic leadership pathway in the project, level 2 project, Understanding Your Communication Style, a 5 to 7 minute speech. Giving the speech titled Listening to Understand, please welcome Felicity Tinney Wilson.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My presentation tonight is supposed to be based on Toastmasters Level 2 Pathways Motivation. Specifically, I'm supposed to follow a guideline that asks for communication styles or demonstrate my communication style or some other communication style that I've been exposed to. I like the guidelines. I appreciate them. But tonight, I want to share a story with you. I'm going to go off the rails. And I want to share a story with you that has to do more with whether you can think about the moments that you listen to truly understand and be in the moment, or whether you listen eagerly waiting to respond. Friends, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I use the Holy Bible as what everyone may call it, the Holy Grail. I go to the Bible for everything. I go for advice. I go for decision-making. I go to the Bible when I'm doubtful, when I'm happy, sad, glad, mad, indecisive, joyful, everything. I believe in God, right? I also know that within the Bible, there are several chapters and verses that speaks directly about how I should communicate, how I ought to behave in any situation. I know better. For example, I will share in the Old Testament, Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1 says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." In another chapter, in another book, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29 says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." One last verse I will share with you comes from the book of Psalms, chapter 141, verse 3. And this is the ultimate one. Whether you're a Christian or not, you can use it. It's a prayer, guys. It goes like this: "Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth, keep the door of my lips closed." So what's this all about? It's supposed to be about communication. When you communicate, when you talk, when you interact, guys, we can spend all evening, all week, all month talking about communication, because at the end of the day, there's so many factors and situations, emotions, triggers, all kinds of things that impact the way we communicate. It may or may not be your go-to style in situation 1 versus situation 2. You may even find yourself shifting from one communication style to the next. My intent in life is to communicate first to understand versus eager to react. Last Saturday, I was at the gas station. I was finished pumping gas, and typically I would fill up a red emergency container just because I make extra trips during the week. But on Saturday, I was having difficulty uncapping the container. So I went to get help from the service attendant. His name is Chris. I know him. We exchange idle conversation, and he came immediately over to help me. He was having issues uncapping the container as well, because the first time I went to the gas station to fill up the tank, he was there. So he understand the issue that I was experiencing. So the main thing that he needed to do was not to pump gas into the canister rapidly. He needed to do it extremely slowly. So much so that if you were the onlooker, you might think, my goodness, he's not doing anything. He should be helping her. Why isn't she pumping her own gas? Well, lo and behold, there was another customer who thought exactly that. At least that was the impression I got. She approached where I stood and asked the attendant to rudely go and help her. Out of the blue, I found myself reacting, turned to her and said, "Do you not see him helping me? Stay in your lane and back away." She did not like it. She returned and started yelling choice words at me. Guys, do you relate to situations like that? What would you have done? I could have done one of three things, perhaps. Stayed quiet, kindly say to her, "This is the situation, please understand," and let it be at that. But I did not do that. At the end of the day, I found myself what-ifing myself. What if I'd done this? What if I'd done that? I even called my husband and asked for his opinion. Am I usually like that? I was disappointed in myself. I knew that I was not in a moment. I knew that I was not listening to understand. And so what I want to say is my expectation is to listen to understand versus listening to react. Because if nobody is listening to anybody, we would all have bad experiences in our communication attempts more often than is necessary. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Felicity, on your unique presentation on communication styles. Just a moment here. Okay, let's hear from our timer. How did our speakers do this evening?
Everyone qualifies this evening. So we have Alexia at 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Felix, 4 minutes even. And then Felicity was just at, hold on, I just covered up my own page. 6 minutes and 32 seconds. So everyone, all the speakers tonight qualify.
For clarification, was Felix at 4 minutes or 5 minutes even? His was a 5 to 7 minute.
It's 5 minutes. Sorry. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. 5 minutes even.
Okay. So everyone qualified. All right. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do is launch a poll, which you should be seeing shortly. It will have all of our prepared speakers, and simply select one of the speakers and submit. That's going to launch in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to close the poll in just another moment. Okay, poll is closed. I'm going to make a note of our winner so that we can share it as we approach the end of the meeting. Okay. Great. Catherine, just know you have your yellow background on.
Thank you.
All right. Now I'm excited. We get to transition into the second part of our meeting, table topics. This is my personal favorite session in any Toastmasters meeting. And we have an amazing table topics master to lead us to having a good time with table topics. Please give a warm virtual welcome to Rachel Shu.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Let me just share my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So, hi guys. So how many holidays have you had when you spend so much time worrying about getting everything right before the holiday that you're just so glad when the holiday is finally over? The theme of today's meeting is being present. When you spread thin and stress, it's easy for our mind to be focused on the past or trying to predict the future. When your mind is on overdrive, you miss the richness available in the moment. The magic of the holiday is often in small, authentic moments, such as a hug from a loved one, a moment of noticing the beauty around the table, or the sensation of a warm drink in your hands. Being present means you're aware of the details of the moment, including what you're experiencing as well as others. The best gift you can give yourself and others is be present in the moment. As the holiday season is approaching, I think it's pertinent for us to meditate and reflect on the theme of today's meeting, being present. So today, all the questions that I have involve the upcoming holiday and being present. So let us begin. Just 1 minute. The first question that I had is, what is the intention in your heart for this Thanksgiving? When you get swiped by in the last minute shopping, wrapping, or food prep, take a pause and reflect on your deepest desire for the experience ahead. By taking a moment to remember your intention, you connect with the power of your heart, and after all is said and done, your loving intent is the best gift you could ever give. So what is the intention in your heart for your Thanksgiving? Lucas, I'm going to give this question to you.
Oh, thank you very much, Table Topics Master. My intention for this Thanksgiving is to have a great time. If I am asked to make something to contribute a dish, it has to be good. I cannot have that reputation of, oh, remember when he made that horrible dish that was so bad that we almost decided not to invite him to any more Thanksgiving gatherings, right? I don't want to be that person. I want to make an amazing dish. I want it to be unique. Now, in my family, I am known for making certain dishes, and I do them well, but sometimes I like to break out of that mold. I like to experiment with different things. And it feels so great when you make something and you give it to your family, to your friends, whoever you have around you. They taste it, they try it, and they love it. So that brings me a lot of happiness. Maybe next time I should just charge them to try my dish. I don't know. Maybe they'll give me some money. Who knows? But I'm just joking there. In any case, my intention is to have a great time. And if I do provide food, if I'm asked to make food, then I will go ahead and do something that everyone will enjoy. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Lucas. I can definitely see that you are a great cook. And then I'm really curious about the Thanksgiving dishes that you will prepare for your family. So next question is how to pay attention to details for your family during a holiday. And then for this question, I'm going to give it to Felix. Felix, how to pay attention to details for your family during a holiday.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, or Madam Table Topic. My apologies. Very interesting. I just listened to a podcast with a Amishi Jha, who is a professor at the University of Miami, who has written several books about mindfulness and how important it is to stay in the moment. And what better time than during the holidays, and especially, let's say, at Thanksgiving. I have been cooking the turkey for my family for the last 25 years. And I have to say, Lucas, one of these days we may have to go head to head and see, but I take very big pride in my turkey cooking. And I have to baste it while it's cooking, but I even brine it for 24 hours before I cook it. And that requires a lot of detail. And sometimes I sacrifice the amount of time and attention I should be giving my family while I'm giving it to the turkey. And at the end of the day, it's all about family. Yes, the turkey's great and the fixings are great, but what are we really thankful for? We're thankful for the opportunity to spend time with family. I notice that the older I get, the less materialistic I am, and the more thankful I am for every opportunity. And by the way, as the family has continued to grow, I'm running out of turkey space. So now I may have to cook 2 turkeys. And that's something that I'm not very thankful for, but I am thankful for the family. Thank you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you so much, Felix. That's excellent. I definitely have a moment like you when I was so focusing on making a turkey right that I spent my entire Thanksgiving stressing out about how to get this turkey right and ignoring my family except until the last minute. I am definitely, it's a good learning from you that I need to pay more attention to my family. And at the end of the day, the turkeys probably ended up going to be dry anyways. So next question is, what are you thankful for at work? And then let me just pull up this question real quick. What are you thankful at work? And then for this question, I will ask Jane, what are you thankful for at your work?
Oh man, I was hoping this question, if anything, was going to go to me because I've been working so dang much. It is stressful, but I am actually happy that I'm working so dang much because in the moment when you're stressed out about work and you're just stressed about like, why are these clients talking to me like this? How dare they? Or why can't this new person be a little bit more confident? That sounds mean, but we all think it, all right? We still have to kind of take a moment in a day and just be grateful, show gratefulness, which is what Thanksgiving's about, right? And that, you know, at the point in the day, just think to ourselves, like, you know, this is pretty stressful, but you know, this job is providing me food, it's providing me all the things that I want, all these extra luxuries. Specifically about my work, I'm thankful that no one's on top of me. And I'm thankful that I'm actually like in a pretty cool work environment. The office looks cool. That sounds so superficial, but the other job was like super 80s like themed, like it had like those like gray cubicles, and I was like, oh God, this is terrible. And my current office has like a view of Coral Gables, and even if I'm there like 9 or 10 hours in a day, I can just look over and be like, oh, there's life outside. There are people that probably don't have to work and they're enjoying like the pool or something, but it's out there. So those are the things I'm thankful for.
Thank you so much, Jane. I definitely, so I have a cubicle at work, and then I definitely know what you're saying about the good view. I think that's so important. I mean, even my view is a parking lot, but just seeing a parking lot and seeing the palm tree, sometimes that's all it takes to brighten up my day. So I definitely understand what you're saying. Okay, so the next question is, what are you thankful for Toastmaster? And then for this question, I think I will ask Catherine. Catherine, what are you thankful for Toastmaster?
Too many windows here. So for Toastmasters, I'm thankful for improving my Zoom skills because I use WebEx and Teams all day. So I'm thankful for that, especially during the pandemic. I really look forward to our meetings. So when we were meeting in person, it was always great, but it was always such a rush since I work in downtown Miami. So I would like get in my car, get across traffic, go to Coral Gables. And I was always just so trying to find my way in the building to the room. And I was just always like in a rush to get there. And then now when we were doing the virtual meetings, it was kind of nice because I got to be more mindful about what I wanted to get out of the meeting. I could kind of prep myself more, go through my notes, get everything organized. And especially when everyone was sheltering at home, this was a great little community that we could at least see each other face to face, even if not in person. And we've had great conversations and jokes and a nice little bi-weekly community to get through everything. So I'm grateful for the community and the friendship of this group. Thank you, Table Topics, Madam.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah, I am really grateful for the community and then also the friendship that I'm able to get from Toastmasters and knowing all of you guys. Yeah, that was excellent. Okay, so the next question is a very important question. The reason I say it's important because I think everyone from this meeting is going to benefit from the answer of this question. So the next question is how to avoid arguing about politics with a family member at the Thanksgiving table. And then for that question, I think I'll give it to Brian. Brian, how to avoid arguing about politics with a family member at the Thanksgiving table?
Excellent question. Thank you so much, Madam Table Topics Master. Excuse me. How to avoid arguing about politics with family at the table? Simple answer for me. I don't know anything about politics. I don't pay attention. I turn off the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the Fox News. I don't want to hear about it. I'm very, one of my pastimes, I like to trade equities, just something I do for fun. So the whole thing about that is canceling out the noise. You just look at price action, you look at volume, and that's it. That's all we want to see. So politics to me just ends up being noise. And that's all I classify it as. But you will still have some family members and friends bring up politics. And it's not good just to say, I don't know anything about that. That's not the best answer. You look, you don't look too educated when you give that answer. So you have to be very skilled at changing the subject or saying things without actually saying anything at all. Something that I tend to work on here in my table topics questions. Every time I get asked something in table topics, I want to say something without actually saying something. I don't know if you've caught on to that theme, but that's my goal every time. And I want you to all be entertained by it. So that's what I'm going to do this Thanksgiving. If someone asks me something about politics, about Trump, about Biden, I'm going to give them a great answer. And we're going to circle back around. And at the end of it, not anything really of substance is going to be said, but they're going to be entertained and they're going to think, Brian, that's a smart guy right there. He knows what he's talking about. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Brian. I too want to learn how to talk about something without actually talking about something. Because talking about politics at dinner table sometimes, especially during Thanksgiving, is the one thing that just makes the whole environment, just heat up the whole environment. And then I like what you're saying. You can always be able to turn a topic into talking about something funny. I love that. So I have a few more questions prepared. And now I would like to ask the guests of our meeting and see if you guys would like to participate and then answer some of these questions. And then if you do, please let me know. I don't see all of you guys right now, so it would be great if you could just speak up. Thank you.
Rachel, I just want to jump in for a moment. I think that we can give a question to Raynell before we jump to any guests that are willing to participate. Raynell, if you're up to answer a question, to practice your impromptu speaking skills, as a member, you are prioritized in that respect.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad to do it.
Okay, great. And thank you, Lucas. So Renelle, the question is, do you usually do your holiday shopping ahead of time or last minute, and why?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I have been living in US only for 4 years. So I get in the tradition from I came from, there is no tradition to Thanksgiving. And I used to it and getting in the will. But in general way of speaking, I think in all aspects of my life, I'm trying to be ahead of things. And if it's about to buy a gift or something, I always try to make sure the gift is something the target person is gonna be grateful. So I take my time to think about it and thinking what is maybe it's a tiny thing, valueless thing, but I want to reach the heart of that person and make a point on something, and always remember that gift that I get to it.
Thank you so much, Renelle. Appreciate your answer. Yeah, I too like something when I get a present for either a friend or a family. I too like to prepare something simple but thoughtful, like you said. That's the key. Thank you. So I have 2 more questions, and then I would like to know if any of our guests would like to answer these questions.
Hey, Rachel, per the agenda, we're just at about the end of the table topic session.
Okay, great. So that will be the end of the table topic. And then, so thank you everyone for sharing about your answers. I mean, this year we have so many things to be thankful for. We're thankful for our work. We're thankful for Toastmaster, and then our friends and family. And then there's also so much to looking forward to as well. How to prepare a great Thanksgiving dish and how to make sure that the turkey is not super dry. And then also we need to get presents for our family. But as we are preparing for everything ahead of time, I just hope everyone can remember today's theme, being present, because just as we're planning for things, it's always good to plan ahead of time so that we can be, when we're planning things, then we don't have to worry about it. And then we will be able to be present more, and then to be able to enjoy the details of the holiday season and then being with our family. Thank you. Back to you, Lucas.
Thank you very much, Rachel. What a fantastic table topic session, in line with the theme and very creative. Thank you very much for your support in this area. Let's hear from our timer. How did our table topic speakers do this evening?
So all of our members have qualified. We had Lucas at 1 minute, 19 seconds, Felix at 1:40, Jane at 1:30, myself, I think I was at 1:17. Lucas.
Well, you're good.
Okay. Brian 1:38 and Renelle at 1:31. All
right, fantastic. Therefore, I can go ahead and launch the poll for you to choose your best table topic speaker that is launching right now. And I will give us about a minute, and then I will close the poll. Okay, just a few more seconds and then I will close it. Okay, the poll is closed. I can go ahead and write down here. Okay. Great. Now we are finally approaching the final segment of our meeting, speech evaluations, such a critical part of any Toastmasters meeting where our prepared speakers really get detailed feedback and information on how they can improve their presentation skills. That's the goal of Toastmasters, to continuously improve as we continue to participate in speaking, whether it's in prepared speeches, table topic speeches, or speech evaluations. I will go ahead and lead us off in this segment and introduce our first evaluator, evaluating Alexia's icebreaker speech. Please welcome Brian DeSimone.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Alexia, let me just start by saying it's my absolute honor to be evaluating your icebreaker speech within our club. I have to say, I think of all the members, I am most excited to see your journey in this club. I think you've come in and obviously you've been in a couple meetings. It's your first time speaking and did a great job. And I think moving forward, especially when we get back in person, you and all of us that are in this meeting today that we saw you speak, we're going to really see some tremendous growth out of you if you really take the time to keep honing your craft. Great start tonight. And I think you're only going to get better, and you're going to be so impressed with your journey, and you're going to remember this night. I could see it. You're going to remember this night and this evaluation moving forward. But to get right into it, started off how you got here, how you got to Toastmasters. Tell us about your journey after college. You wanted to take a career leap, so you went to South Carolina. A great, I don't know what career you're in. You did mention civil engineering. I don't know if you're working in that currently. So South Carolina, I've been through there. I'm not a fan of it. And now you're in Miami, so maybe you weren't a fan of it either. But you notice something. You notice everyone getting opportunities at work were getting their opportunities because of how they led client interactions. So that's something that sparked in you. Hey, let me try something. Let me get advice. Go to my manager, ask what I could do. They recommend Toastmasters, and here you are. And you said something very interesting. You said you wanted to find a speaking style authentic to yourself. That is, to me, the most important statement of your speech. That's the key to Toastmasters. We're all trying to find our authentic style. Keep looking for it. Keep trying to find it. I think you have a great jumping off point, something that you do really well. You have a very strong voice. I don't know if you realize that. Your voice, you command the room. Something that's the first thing I noticed about you. We were on the phone the other day talking about our upcoming meeting, and in this speech, your voice is extremely commanding. Use that to your advantage. Don't be afraid to get creative. Don't be afraid to step on yourself. This is how you're going to find your authentic style, is really just being creative. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Definitely have fun with your speeches. We're here. We're having fun. We're going to make mistakes. Enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Keep moving forward. And I can't wait for your next speech. And again, whatever it's going to be, you can choose whatever topic it's going to be on. Have fun with it. Choose a topic that you get excited about. And when you sit down to write your speech, you are thrilled. You can't wait to share it with us. Have fun with it. But remember, use your strong voice. Command us. You're here. When you're speaking, you're the center of attention. Command the show. And that's something you do really well, and it's only going to get better. Alexia, cannot wait to see your next speech. Again, have fun with it. Continue the journey. It's only going to get better from here. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. Back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brian. Now let's hear from our second evaluator, Jane Ruiz. She's going to be evaluating Felix's speech. Give a warm applause for Jane. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm not super happy about following up Brian, but here we go. Felix, your topic, it's November, so why am I so scruffy? When you said that, I was like, oh, okay, that's what, that explains it. Felix, you're a very confident and strong speaker. You sound very seasoned, like you've been doing this for a long time. I'm not just talking about the white beard. You just sound like that, even before the beard. As usual, in your speech, you had an excellent pace and a confident tone. You weren't faltering anywhere. You took your time to enunciate and say everything. You had clear transitions throughout. These are all hallmarks of a Felix Jimenez speech. The topic that you chose was charming and relatable, No Shave November. I've known it existed for a while, and I'm sure a lot of people in this virtual room have as well. I've even known people who participated, but I actually didn't know anything about the meaning behind it. I thought it was just an internet fad. So this was very enlightening to hear. In your speech, you and the tone, you used colorful language that almost sounded Dr. Seussian. That little bit where you said disheveled, unkempt, scruffy, it sounded so musical. And I really like that. That was actually kind of the personality throughout your speech as well. So that's all the stuff that I enjoy that I want you to, I hope you keep doing, because you're doing it very well. Where I think there could be improvement is, I think that PowerPoint in person works differently than virtually, especially when it doesn't come in the beginning, it comes later on in the speech. It would have been more seamless to transition to if it was already up. Maybe next time ask for permission to have, the screen share earlier on. Also, I think there's a missed opportunity where the beginning of the speech was like very friendly and made everybody comfortable. And then when you presented the statistics, the tone changed. And I don't think it was as fluid as the first part of your speech. I think next time, maybe it's a very serious topic. I like that it was friendly and you spoke about something like cervical cancer, but maybe present less statistics. I think it would have made your speech stronger. And that's it for me. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you very much, Jane. Let's hear from our timer, Catherine. How did our evaluators do this evening?
I realized, Jane, I counted you down a little bit earlier, but you're qualified. Your time was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And then Brian, you were 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay, fantastic. So we did our formal evaluations, and what we're going to jump to is round robin evaluations. This is something that we're going to do for Felicity in her speech. And the way that round robin evaluations go is that any member can give a 1 minute evaluation for Felicity's speech. Catherine will show the red card when you reach a minute. So within that minute, right, this is the challenge. You want to include some commendations on what she did well and some recommendations to elevate her next speech. I'll go ahead and start us off. Felicity, I really enjoyed the way that you flipped the topic and you kind of told it to us in a unique way. You said, this is what the guidelines are, but you know what? I'm going to go off-road. I'm going off-roading on a Jeep, and you flipped it. I like that you used some references. I like that you made a lot of connections, right? You used something, a source that you find that you use personally, and then you connected it to a real life experience and what you aspire to be as far as a communicator and what you aspire to do as far as communicating and listening, understanding rather than reacting. I think you told the story pretty vividly. I was picturing it in my mind, and I think you did an amazing job of storytelling. Some areas in which you can improve, I think when it came to the storytelling, I believe you could have worked on the pacing a little bit, just went a tad fast. If you had created some intentional pauses, especially at that point where the person was about to tell you what happened, or you paused and then you maybe go straight into what you ended up telling the person, I think that would have been more impactful. And another thing is the Zoom background. It was cutting off your head at some point. So I think if you work on removing the background, do a clear one or a blurry one, I think that's going to help more with audience engagement, as well as your eyes were sometimes straying off the screen a little bit. But thank you very much for your speech.
At this point, anybody else can just jump in and give their 1 minute evaluation for Felicity. All right, Felix, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So Felicity, you are a formidable opponent. That's why I feared being against you in this contest. I've heard you speak before, and I must say that I love your enunciation, your tone, your tempo, and then the topic that you chose, you have such a personal conviction that it was so resonating with your audience, regardless of whether you're a believer or not. You could see how transparent and thoughtful and truthful you were in your convictions. And from an area that there could be some improvement, at least how it affected me was, I noticed, again, like Lucas mentioned, the background was a little distracting because you have great facial expressions, and I thought that the head movements were good, but the background would phase in and out. And also the reflection of the light in your glasses was also somewhat distracting. And again, I'm just being very picky, but overall the speech was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. And we have one more opportunity for a 1 minute evaluation for Felicity's speech. If you're up for it, just wave, unmute, whatever you'd like to do.
I can go.
All right, Catherine, I'll go ahead and time you.
All right. Felicity, tonight, I noticed you did something very interesting that I think you've done before. It's been pretty subtle, and I just wanted to call attention to it because it's pretty brilliant. But many of us, we kind of pick like the tone of our speech or the template, and that's the path we stick to and we commit to for all sections of our speech. And tonight I noticed, at first you kind of started more observational about with your practices with, the Bible and sharing different excerpts from it that mean a lot to you. But then you transition to more of a narrative to make additional points. And I really like that because it's served as a really dynamic conversation and kept us on our toes. And you even do it in smaller, subtle ways. Like, for example, when you're just listing items. So you were listing out different verses, and to emphasize, you kind of called attention, you said, and the ultimate one is this. And so just, saying X, Y, and Z. And you have a good way of interjecting and emphasizing different points that you want to make sure we really take away with us and to break up the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. And that will conclude round robin evaluations for Felicity's speech. Thank you for everyone that participated. So at this point, I'm going to launch the poll for best evaluator. Only these evaluators that gave a 2 to 3 minute evaluation qualify for that. So from my understanding, both of our evaluators qualified, Brian and Jane?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and launch that poll. Right now, you should see it pop up on your screen, and feel free to vote. Give it another few seconds. Okay. So that is that. The polls are closed, and we have our best evaluator. Fantastic. Okay. So as far as our meeting, I will give a general evaluation of our meeting, ways that we can improve and ways that we excelled. We started just a little bit after 7 p.m. That's something that we're continuously working on, trying to start as close to 7 o'clock as possible. We were able to make any necessary adjustments so that we can have a full roster of supporters for this meeting. Catherine did an amazing job as our timer. Thank you very much for your assistance there. Rachel, thank you for the creative table topics. One recommendation is before you share your PowerPoint, try to have it in presentation view so that when you do share it, what we see is the first slide. When you shared it, we were able to see your entire deck. So we could see all the questions, but it was minimized, so we couldn't really read the questions, but we could see everything on your end. So if you have it in presentation view, it'll be more engaging for the audience, let's say. And as far as evaluations, I enjoyed the evaluations. They were in depth, just a continual theme for any evaluation is to continue to really focus on how they can improve their speech from a technical side and also the way that they present their information. So that's just something that I encourage all evaluators, not just in this meeting, to continue doing as they sign up to be evaluators for future speeches. So at this point, what I'm going to do is share our winners for Best Speaker, Best Table Topics, and Best Evaluator. So for Best Evaluator, we have Jane. Best Table Topics, Brian. And best speech for this evening, drum roll, Felix. Fantastic, and congratulations to every single person who participated. Now I'd like to hear from our functionary, Brian. How did it go with our ahs, ums, and anything that you picked up in regard to grammar?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So I'll just read off my report here. Starting off with myself, 2 ahs, 5 ums. Sure, there was more in there, as there usually is with my case, but I'm not as talented as at getting myself on these. So apologies. I'll be better in the future. Catherine, 3 ums, 2 kind ofs. Rachel, 1 4 so's. Jane, 4 ahs, 3 ums, 1 like, and 1 so. Felix, 7 ahs, 1 but. And Raynell, 5 ums and 4 ands. And in terms of language, good use of language, I love, Felix, in your speech in regards to No Shave November. You mentioned going au natural. Such a, it's a cool term that you don't get to hear all the time. So appreciate you using that one. Rachel, in the introduction of your table topics, you mentioned the best gift you can give to yourself and others is being present. Really good use of words there, especially as we approach the holiday season. Excellent job. And Jane, something you mentioned in your speech, whenever you're in your table topics, excuse me, whenever you're at work and it's getting long hours, you say you look outside the window and you see the outside world moving about. And I think we all do that. Whenever we're stuck inside, we're working away, we get to kind of live vicariously with nature or whoever's walking by outside. So I love the way you mentioned that. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Back to you.
Okay, fantastic, Brian. Thank you for that detailed report on the crutch words that we use and that we're trying to eliminate in everyday speech wherever we can, because it only makes us better speakers, communicators. So that is something that we all work on, of course, and we want to eliminate as we progress as speakers. Okay, at this point, I'd like to hear from our guests. How did you enjoy the meeting? What feedback do you have? Do you think that Toastmasters is something that you can utilize to improve your public speaking? Let's hear from Daria.
Well, another excellent meeting. You guys are so on top of your agenda and everyone is so positive and supportive of each other. It's really nice to see that and to have such nice organization. I hope I will be able to fill out my paperwork and join and be a member with you guys soon, and hope that soon they can be in person because I really enjoy in person. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Daria. Yes, we are looking forward to going back in person. It is something that we are working on. We are truly working on it and we can't wait to go back. And as far as your application and paperwork, we will open up a breakout room after we conclude the meeting Felicity and myself, we can certainly help you get sorted on that and get you on our roster, get you joined as soon as possible so that you're not delayed in starting your Toastmasters journey. You can get access to everything as soon as possible. Okay, we had a guest join us a little bit later in the meeting. No problem there. Doris, if you'd like to unmute, share your camera if you feel comfortable doing that. And just let us know what you thought of the meeting, any feedback, and if you can utilize Toastmasters in your public speaking journey.
Good evening, everyone. This is my second meeting, and I'm really happy that I joined again this evening. I was a little late because of work, but what I enjoy is the level of support that each presenter receives. That's something that I'm looking for. I do a lot of open speeches. I'm very terrified of speaking publicly, but I figure if I learn in a small environment, it will benefit me a lot. I've seen a lot of support, critiques, positive critiques, and that's what I enjoy. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of, so I can improve my speaking skills and I can do more in terms of where my job is relating to all of this. So I appreciate being here. I've learned a lot this evening. And one thing I understand from being here is that it's not about really feelings right now. It's a matter of being open to learning and being open to helping others move on through this process. So thanks so much for being here. And I too would like to complete the process of being a part of.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Doris, and sharing about how Toastmasters can benefit you in your career, which is so important for all of us. I feel like public speaking is useful for every career. Sometimes people think of public speaking as speaking in front of audiences, but in reality, public speaking is one-on-one. Public speaking is in that conference room. Public speaking is in front of two people that you may be interviewing with for a position. So public speaking is so relevant, and I'm glad that we have this community here where we can help each other improve in a safe environment. I say that Toastmasters, that is the place to make mistakes so that when we improve and we get feedback, we don't make those mistakes when it really counts, when it's that presentation, that interview, whatever the case may be. And I want to give a special shout out to both you and Daria for being a second-time guest. And for that, I want to send you a shooting star emoji. And as I mentioned, we are going to open a breakout room after we conclude the meeting. You can jump in there and we can get you started on whatever step is missing to join us. There's no pressure. We don't want to push you, but we also don't want to delay you on getting started in your public speaking journey. So that will be opened after we stop the recording and we adjourn. Felicity, you had a comment?
Yes, I think Mitchell jumped off. He had to leave, but he sent me a text. He is also interested in membership information. So he's already emailed me. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that information. All right. Thank you, everyone. This concludes the Coral Gables Toastmasters November 10th, 2021 regular club meeting.